Hello and welcome back to the channel. Um, Today we're going to be doing the second part of the what is depression, because depression is a very big subject. I thought I'd break it down into several videos. Today we're going to be talking about one of the things that is probably the hardest to get your head around, not because it's a difficult concept, but because it can be both cause and effect. It can also be a form of self-harm or a form of protection as well. What I'm talking about is isolation or alienation, however you'd like to refer to it. So let's look at alienation as a causal factor. In our social groups or in our family or in our work environment, we may find ourselves outside the normal social interaction flow. This can cause depression. For me personally, I don't know how my depression started, but I can say that I did feel isolated within my own family. I didn't really have the same interests as my parents or my brother, and they would say, if they were still alive, and did say quite a lot, that I was the most intelligent member in our little four-person family. So they couldn't connect with me on that level either. So I was very isolated. I used to spend a lot of time by myself. So that could be what brought on my depression. I'm not saying it is, but that's something to look out for. That isolating someone, alienating someone from a group can cause depression if they have the genetic predisposition for depression. And we're talking about long-term depression, not a depressive episode. This is a permanent, almost permanent state of depression. Now, of course, when someone is perceiving a degree of isolation within a group, whatever group it happens to be, it could be multiple groups. Could be they just don't fit in anywhere. Or they may perceive that they don't fit in anywhere. Well, that can actually lead to actual alienation within those groups. And therefore, it becomes a cause as well. It's a cause and an effect, and it goes into a vicious cycle. Now, if you're depressed, or if you've got any sort of mental ill health, if you feel alienated, you have the option of withdrawing into your own personal safe space. So like I said, I used to spend a lot of time on my own within my family. And that can actually become a form of self-harm. Because if you are purposefully withdrawing on your own accord, you're not being forced to, you're doing it on your own, that just increases the isolation. perceived or otherwise. So what you're doing is, instead of trying to break out of the alienation you feel, you actually feed the isolation by pulling back from other people. So that's what I call social self-harm. However, some people decide that to protect themselves from emotional distress, they have to isolate. And that is the best thing for them. So it can be a form of self-harm, but it can also be a form of self-protection. And I've noticed this, all these 4 different types of alienation and isolation, in the people I've spoken to and in my 47 years of having depression myself. Ultimately, depression can represent alienation from the happier part of the emotional spectrum. You start to only feel the negative emotions, so anger, grief, sadness. You feel those. You can feel the others, but they feel different. They are not, they don't feel part of yourself. Worse still is, because depression can create memory problems. I had memory problems before I had COVID. The COVID just made it worse. But because of those memory problems caused by depression, it can also alienate a sufferer from themselves. And that's a very hard thing to grapple with, because you don't, not only do you not fit in any of the groups that have alienated you, you start to feel alienated from your own self. And that just increases the causal factor and the effect to supercharge the vicious cycle where you don't feel connected. You don't feel connected to anything. And that is very hard indeed. What people don't realize about depression is how isolating it can be, and how ultimately it harms our relationship with ourselves, not just with other people. Anyway, that's it for this video. If you liked what you've seen or found it interesting, please click the like button. Share it with anyone that you think might be interested in your social media feeds. And if you want more videos like this, then why not click the subscribe button and the notification bell so you know when another video has been dropped. And I hope to see you with another video, not necessarily on depression, but another video soon. And hope to see you then.